Hello, my name is Keshwani. That is K-E-S-H-W-A-N-I, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for SAT. We have been solving SAT math problems out of this book here, the official SAT study guide. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. The problem that we are about to solve is the one that you will find on page number 851. Page 851. Please turn to it. Today is our lesson number 114. Question number 15 is what we are about to do. It says, if a volume of a cube is 8, what is the shortest distance from the center of the cube to the base of the cube? So we are dealing with a cube with a volume of 8. If its volume is 8, which means it has a side of 2. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. This side is 2, this side is 2, and this side is 2. The shortest distance from the center, let's see how it's phrased. What is the shortest distance from the center of the cube to the base of the cube? This is the base of the cube right here. This is the base of the cube, this is the center of the cube, and therefore the shortest distance is just half of the side, which is 1. That's it. I don't know what else to show you here. There is no solution as such. There is no mathematical solution that I can present to you. Just shortest distance from the center to the base is just 1. The answer is A. The answer is A. Number 16. We are given a value here, y we are told equals 5x cubed over z. And the question is, what happens to the value of y when both x and z are doubled? Which is exactly what we're going to do here. We're going to take our x and z and we're going to double their value, and we're going to compare the final result with what we started out with. So here's our x. So instead of x, it becomes 2 times x. We're going to double it. So if you double the value of x, this quantity is being cubed now. Similarly, the y is being doubled, so it becomes 2z. Is that what they say? Z is being doubled, so it becomes 2z. If y equals to 5x cubed over z, what happens to the value of y when both x and z are doubled? So there you go. Z becomes 2z and x becomes 2x, except this 2x quantity is being cubed. So now we get 5 times 2 cubed, which is 8, times x cubed over 2 times z. This 2 is going to cancel out with this 8, and we end up with 4. So what we end up is 5x cubed, just like before, 5x cubed over z times 4. Times 4, this 4 here, right here. So what happens to the original quantity? Well, it's been quadrupled. It's been quadrupled because this guy is being cubed. So when we cube something, it becomes 8 times as much. Any quantity that's been cubed, if you double it, it becomes 8 times as much. For example, if you have 2, and if you cube it, this is 2 to the cube is 8, but now if you double it, 2 times 2, and if you cube it, it becomes 2 cubed times 2 cubed. It is 8 times as much. Here's another one. 5 cubed is just 5 cubed, which is 125, but if you double it, it becomes 5 times 2 cubed, which is same as our original 5 cubes times 2 cubed. It is 8 times as much. So the top quantity is 8 times as much, and the bottom quantity is twice as much. So this 8 cancels out with this 2, leaving us with 4 times the original quantity. Here's our original quantity, 5x cubed over z times 4. The answer is y is multiplied by 4. The answer is E. Y is multiplied by z, multiplied by 4. Number 17. Number 17. We are told that Luke purchased an automobile for $5,000. All right. and the value of the automobile decreased by 20% each year. Each year value went down by 20%. The value in dollar of the automobile n years from the date of the purchase is given by the function v, which we are told looks something like this. V is a function of n, which is number of years here. So the value of the car depends on how many years you had it, and the relationship is this: 5,000 times 4/5 raised to n. And the question simply is, how many years from the date of the purchase will the value of the automobile be $3,200? How many years will it take before it becomes $3,200? Now listen, there are two ways we can go about it. One way is exactly what we see on the blackboard. They give us the formula, and they expect us to use the formula. What they want you to do is set this up equal to 30. Set this value up equal to 3,200, and then they want you to solve this equation for n. This is a very classical way, very traditional way, very orthodox way, very academic way. You could do that if you wanted to, but here's a quicker way. We're just going to keep on going, and each year we're going to reduce it by 20% until we get to 3,200, and we're going to ask ourselves how many years did it take. So let's begin. $5,000 when purchased. After 1 year, it's going to drop by 20%. 10% of 5,000. 10% of 5,000 is 500. Therefore, 20% of 5,000. Therefore, 20% of 5,000 is going to be twice as much. It's going to be twice as much. 20% is 1,000. So, it's going to drop by $1,000 in the first year. Drop in value in the first year. Let's call it depreciation. Which is 20% of 5,000. Becomes 4,000. This is after 1 year. This is value after 1 year. Next year, it drops by 20% again, but 20% of what? Not 20% of this amount, but 20% of this new value. Again, 10% of 4,000 is 400. You just drop a zero. Therefore, 20%. Therefore, 20% of 4,000 is going to be twice as much. 800. So we subtract 800 from it. And we arrive at 3,200, which is value after 2 years. At the end of 2 years, it's going to have the value of $3,200. That's it. We don't have to use this. We don't have to use this cumbersome formula, this tedious formula here. The answer is 2. The answer is B. The value of the car is going to be $3,200 after 2 years. Even this part that I just showed you is too much. Just think about it logically. You start out with $5,000. We know it drops by 20% every year. 10% of 5,000 is 500. Therefore, 20% is 1,000. Which means at the end of the first year, the value of the car is only $4,000. Every year it drops by 20% of the value that you started out with. Next year, the end of the first year and the beginning of the second year, it's going to drop by another 20%, 20% of 4,000. Again, 10% of 4,000 is 400. Therefore, 20% is going to be 800. You subtract 800 from the value that you started out with, which is $4,000. You end up with $3,200 at the end of 2 years. That's all. No need for the formula. That's it. I will see you tomorrow, where we'll solve the problems on the next page. Alright? Bye now.